Heather from the Damascus Public Library. Our story for today is We All Need Each Other by Mark Lowry. Once in a land not too far from here, really quite close, in fact, very near, there lived a mouse whose name was Piper. Folks thought he was strange, 'cause this mouse was hyper. His one eye was gray, the other was blue, and his tail curled up in a cute curly queue. He had fur from the top of his black pointed nose right down his back to the tip of his toes. At birth, he looked like his brother and sister, but this mouse was different, believe it, mister. He liked to jump and he loved to run. He could never sit still, 'cause sitting's no fun. He bounced over bottles, he jumped over jars, he leaped over lizards that ran through the yard. He flew up through trees, barely touching the leaves, then back down again with the greatest of ease. He smiled all the time and he laughed and he joked. He loved playing pranks. Yes, he loved pranks the most. His teachers would beg, "Won't you try to be good?" So he'd try, he'd try just as hard as he could. But something would pop, yes, pop in his head. Then off he would go, misbehaving instead. 'Cause when he would sit for even a while, he'd daydream of running a 3-minute mile. His energy came from deep in his soul. His mom often said he was hard to control, but she knew a great gift was buried inside. In time it will blossom, she predicted with pride. But our story begins when Piper first learns that life as we live it can take twists and turns. And often it's hard to get through by yourself. There are times when you really need somebody else. Well, our hyper young mouse was down by the creek where a small caterpillar was trapped on a leaf that was floating too fast on the water, a wrinkled old leaf and that poor caterpillar. The town had all gathered to rescue their friend. The young and the old were all watching just when the leaf hit the rapids. It bounced up and down. Yes, it bounced and it flounced and it trounced all around. An old mouse with wisdom cried, "What shall we do? Oh dear, I'm too old for a speedy rescue." Another said, "Someone must quickly reply, or surely that poor caterpillar will die." While others were wondering which plan was best, young Piper stepped forward ahead of the rest.
"Quicker is better, I'll go."
And he ran. He sprang over Grandpa and flew over Fran. The mayor went bug-eyed and bellowed, "Oh my!" But lickety-split, old Piper flew by. With no thought for himself, Piper dove in the river. And that's when it happened. That poor caterpillar opened her wings and took to the sky. Well, what do you know? She's a blue butterfly. She flittered, she flopped, she flapped her wings. She flew like an eagle and felt like a queen. But what she saw next caused her poor heart to quiver, for Piper was drowning down deep in the river. She lowered her head, she pulled back her wings, she dove to the water, never questioned a thing. Piper was thrashing and gasping for air. When his head popped up, Miss Butter was there. Sweetly she smiled, introducing herself.
"Nice manners,"
cried Piper,
"but I need some help."
She gave a flick, a flack, and a flitter. With one more tug, old Piper came hither. With Piper now settled astride on her back, she stretched out her wings, gave the wind one more whack. A picture of beauty, they rose in the air. "Bravo!" squealed the wise mouse. "Hooray!" cried the mayor. The village rejoiced to see such a sight, a mouse and a butterfly together in flight. They landed on shore to the cheers of the crowd. Then Piper announced in a voice clear and loud,
"This is the day I have finally learned that life as we live it can take twists and turns. And often it's hard to get through by yourself. There are times when you really need somebody else. So tell all the neighbors, tell those far and near. Keep telling them all till they finally hear. Tell parents and friends and folks on the street. Tell every person you ever will meet. Tell grandmas and grandpas, each uncle and aunt. Tell all of your cousins. Keep on till you can't. Think of a person who never has heard these super stupendous sensational words. And especially tell your sister and brother. This one thing is sure. We all need each other.
A new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another." John 13:34.